The summer pool party has officially begun, and this year we're doing something special.
That's right. Instead of making you wait so many weeks, we're doing every week in the pool.
Not only that, we're doing Patreon pools, and then the next week we're doing a producer pool, and then we're doing a Patreon pool, and then we're doing a producer pool.
That's right. Back to back to back to back weeks of playing your games. These are your games, the games that you want us to play. You can find out more information or find out how you can be a part by visiting us at patreon.com/NGP podcast. Welcome to New Game Plus. This is a retro gaming podcast where three guys spend 7 days playing one old game and then we talk about it. My name's Dustin.
My name is Kenny.
Nolan.
And this is episode 486, and it is a Patreon poll! It is the second to last Patreon pool of the summer pool party. At the end of this episode, we will randomize our final producer pool of the summer, and then at the end of next episode, our final Patreon pool of the summer. If you are not yet a part of the pool party, if your fingers aren't as pruny as Kenny's, you still have time to get in. Kenny, what website do they go to?
Patreon.com.
And then
And you can find patreon.com from where?
Internet Explorer.
I was going to say google.com.
Internet Explorer's dead, bro. It's Edge.
All right. Question of the week is, what are you playing right now?
I'll go first because y'all are playing the same game and you're going to talk about it for a long time.
And you're mad at us?
No, I'm not mad at all. And I don't have a good answer right now. I'm playing through a series right now called... Did y'all hear that ghost? Which actually is on brand for what I'm about to say. I'm playing through a horror game series called Fears to Fathom. It started as this, like... You know what itch.io is? Either of you? It's like the Game Jam website. It's like...
Flash?
Some of them, but most of them these days are like downloads because they're bigger games now because people have better assets.
But they're usually like weird little things, right?
Yes, and most of them are. But you say that, but you'd be surprised that a few games we love probably came from like a game jam from like itch and eventually went to Steam and everything. Anyways, it started there. It's now on Steam. It's called Fears to Fathom. There's 5 games, and they're like stories from Reddit that I don't even know if it's creepypasta or what subreddit specifically, but it's like those stories that people put on Reddit, and some game developer like took those stories and made them into little like mini games, like 25 minutes to like an hour long of you like experiencing it.
But all like horror based.
Yeah, all of them. You would hate it, Kenny. You would hate it.
Oh yeah, I'm so out.
So you're not just reading Reddit posts?
No,
games?
it starts you off with like the premise maybe of the Reddit post, and then you play it through the events that are in it.
And they're good, Nolan? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm on the 3rd one, and like the first one was clearly a like not thrown together, but it was obviously the first one is very short, and there's nothing too special about it. Second one's a little better. Third one's substantially longer, and there's like. It's good. If you like VHS, lo-fi, just quick hits, they're fun little like narrative horror games.
Game 4 is remember to change your carbon monoxide.
Yeah, and then you just like slowly pass out.
No, I think that's a Reddit. He's calling out a particular Reddit post where a guy was finding maybe Post-it notes in his house and he was writing them to himself, but he didn't know. It's not a horror story.
No, it's not a horror. It's just Reddit.
Sometimes
maybe
Kenny's
I'll play that
lore.
one.
Yeah, sometimes.
I know he has
it's
some
not
crazy
a game.
polls.
You don't need to play that
Maybe
one. It's
I'll
not
play
a
that
game. It's real life. Okay, Kenny, I would love to hear from you. Other than chess, what are you playing right now?
You've been waiting all week to have this conversation because you got me hooked on this new game that is my favorite game I've played in ages.
Wow,
and you might like it even more than I do, I think.
That's big for him to say that. You know that.
Your wife might like it. It is. It's great.
What is it?
I am playing Blueprints.
As in like BLUEPRINTS?
Close.
No, PRINCE.
And it is an
Purple Rain.
indie game that was made by an incredibly small team that is a roguelike not deck builder, but like how would you
Drafter?
describe this game?
Like
Drafter.
room
Yeah,
drafter?
sort of rogue. Yeah, you're drafting. It's sort of a dungeon crawl, but like you're drafting the rooms in the dungeon. that
Small
you're
indie studio
creating as
seems
you
to
go.
be a theme for 2025.
Dude.
Maybe
I'm telling
even Game of the Year contenders. But you think that'll for sure get
So
nominated.
good. It's part puzzler, part point and click adventure, part I don't know. I
looks
still
good.
think it's going to take a turn and become psychological horror. It's not, but it freaks me out all the time just because it's like this immersive sort of in-depth kind of storytelling that's based on your environment, and it trips me out even though it's not supposed to. And then yeah, part like roguelike. It's really clever. It's really addictive gameplay loop, and I'm having so much fun with it.
Dustin,
You and
what are
your
you
wife
playing
are
right now?
playing it together?
Yes, mostly. Almost completely.
She's letting you do runs without her?
Well, I play it at bed at night, and sometimes she'll
falls
fall asleep before I'm through with the day, and so she won't see the latter part of a day, and I'll have to catch her up on all of the puzzles I solved or big reveals that she missed.
It's a game where if my wife leaves the room, I have to press pause. So
I try to be a purist so that we can explore it together because she loves watching me go through it and helping some. Like she's a trooper. She's great at like taking notes and pictures and doing all of the things that I'm bad at. I want to just like try and remember everything, and that's
Dustin, let me see your note.
almost impossible. Do not.
You really took little notes like old school.
yeah,
You almost have to.
I wish
you
we had
almost have to.
I wish we had a journal, but my wife refused to get one out. I think for her that is like too serious, and so I had to pull out little. And then I have photos all in my phone of like all of those are from
Kenny, don't look.
the game as well. So I am also playing Blueprints. I am Kenny, you might be interested to find out. We I think got to day 40. Each run is a day, and so some might be as short as, 30 minutes, and some may be as long as 2 hours.
Whoa.
But yeah, it kind of just all depends. But day 40 just got there. We rolled credits back on day 13, but that's
It's kind of
just
a
the beginning
Hades
of the
style thing where you're sort of getting through a piece of the story, but then there's a lot more to do and explore.
What happens on
beyond
day
that.
100?
I
Something?
guess it depends what you do. I don't think I don't think anything is tethered to a particular day, but I do not know. I think it's all about your experience and what you find and what you
Maybe an
uncover.
achievement or something.
Yeah, maybe. Nolan, do you think you'll ever play Blueprints? Because I also
100%.
have mentioned it to you.
Yeah, I will definitely play it.
You
It's
1,000% should.
Yeah.
You need to make sure it's one of those games you need to make sure you don't look up anything about
You say that.
before or during. I'm dead serious. Like the fun is in the discovery and the exploration. It's one that you will be doing yourself a favor if you just go in blind and you just experience it.
I will definitely play it.
Kenny, one last question and then we'll move on. Do you think it should be a contender or at least nominee for Game of the Year?
Yes, possibly game of the decade. We'll see.
You're crazy.
Nolan,
You like it
this
that much?
guy.
It's so good.
I'm glad you're
Well,
finally
there's
playing
been-
something
there've been
other than
some-
freaking whatever you play.
Yeah.
Can
Bizarre.
that just be my birthday present for you?
What, recommending the
That
game
I
to me?
recommended Blueprint?
Absolutely.
Okay. I do have to give a brief shout out. There's a guy that I work with, but also listens to the podcast, Carson. And Carson actually mentioned to me first, hey, has Kenny played Blueprints? He should play Blueprints. So there's someone from
Carson
our community.
was right.
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah,
Carson. You're a better friend to me than Dustin is.
Whoa!
Although he did pass it
Caught
on
stray, dang.
because he found this game for me,
Wow.
and it's so good.
Hey, do what Kenny has done. Grab yourself a fun game, a blanket, and if you're still cold, grab yourself a Cepha broth. Like in our retro game of the week, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII.
Overview.
I really and truly think that Final Fantasy is not only magical, but it is one of the greatest video game experiences
He's
in
glazing.
all of video game history.
I know you think that. As a whole, you mean, or just the first game?
I said certainly not the first game. I'm saying as a whole, the Final Fantasy franchise, and that was what I am positing, and I just wanted to throw that out there.
Kenny's
and see
thinking really hard right now.
I'm thinking. I'm trying to decide. I'll give it to you, but with so many sort of
You will?
implied caveats and exceptions, and I don't know.
It's not even the best Final
I
Fantasy.
don't take umbrage, but I take something.
What? It's not even the best Final Fantasy. What does that mean when I am talking about the Final Fantasy series as a whole?
He's
There's a
talking about
better
the
Final
whole
Fantasy
series.
series?
He's talking about 7. Let's be honest.
No, I'm not. Because y'all know already that although 7 is magical, my goodness, it's magical. I think in many ways 10 is better and preferable and what I would probably recommend. I think 9 is a work of art. I think there were some good things about 16. We could talk about 13, and we have recently on an episode. Like, I just think Final Fantasy, and I know for me it's a magical thing, but I really think just holistically as a video game creation, it is up there as some of the best. And I know that's not a crazy, like, I'm not coming up with anything new. I think if you look at lists or whatever, it's going to be in the top 10 probably.
And that's not even to mention what it's become through Final Fantasy 14. That's a whole different like, fan base, but like still same world and series. And I agree with you. I think it's probably the most. Whatever you said. I don't know if you said.
Yeah,
most
whatever
important.
I said. Roll it back.
Roll it back. Yeah, I agree.
And that foundation has now been laid because the game of the week is Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII. So
you have a problem with that. You think it should be flipped.
We should all have a problem with that because that's absolutely absurd.
It's absurd. It's very absurd. You don't do colon and then the name of the like spin-off first colon name of the series is crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even the remakes, right? It's Final Fantasy VII Reunion, Final Fantasy VII Remake.
They did it right.
And so I know that's now. I don't really know what they did with Before Crisis, which that's a whole conversation. Advent Children. I don't know if it's Advent Children Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. I think it's that one, right?
Before Crisis Final Fantasy VII.
What about Advent Children? That's important.
Let's see, because that's the movie that came out not right after.
It's
but
Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. Okay. But that's all apart. Do you understand ABC? I don't know if you know that. Wait, what's A? Before Crisis, yeah, A. Oh, Advent Children is A.
Yeah.
Advent Children, Before Crisis,
I never
and Crisis
knew that.
Core.
No, never put it together. Because Before Crisis was like a random Japanese phone game, right? That no one played.
Correct.
Well, I didn't play. I shouldn't say that.
No, that never made it out of Japan. Never made it off the phone. That's a big problem here.
And it followed what, the Turks?
Yeah, it followed the Turks. This is a lot of setup to talk about Crisis Core. You ready for Crisis Core conversation?
We kind of need to.
Crisis Core is among a prequel suite. I guess it's not prequel because of Advent. It's among a Final Fantasy VII adjacent suite. Dirge of Cerberus, A, B, C, D. S it. All right? S it.
They didn't.
Crisis Core came out in Did you just say they didn't do that on purpose?
Yeah.
For sure they did.
It's all intentional.
A, B, C, D.
Yes.
A, B, C, D's nuts. Why would you do that?
2007 Crisis Core. Action role-playing game for the PlayStation Portable. Also developed and published by Square Enix. It's kind of uncanny valley, the comparisons between this week's game and last week's game. Let me give you a few. Square Enix.
Yeah.
PSP.
Yeah.
Action role-playing game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spiky hair.
Yeah, are you going to say one that I'm thinking of?
Both prequels.
I have one more.
Not to mention both include the protagonist, Zack Fair.
I have one more.
Go for it.
Same composer.
Are you serious?
The composer of this game worked with other composers, but is listed as one of the composers on Birth by Sleep.
Okay.
So way too many comparisons.
But I said this at the end of the last episode, but do you understand that before last week's game, we had only played one game on the PSP in the lifespan of our 10-year podcast.
Back to back's
Correct.
wild for PSP polls, but I mean,
And
it's a pool party,
And then back to back, we got not only PSP games, but games featuring Zack Fair from Square Enix,
Yeah,
same
that's
composer, all of these things. It's absolutely absurd.
Speaking of Zack Fair, Dustin, he's a very beloved character in the Final Fantasy VII fandom, and we need to address the elephant in the room because you kind of hate him. Is that correct? You don't hate him.
It's correct.
It's close to hate,
Don't let him make that face and then try and justify himself. He's in the Say No to Zack fan club.
He's on the list.
It's not hatred. And I acknowledge this in the first play. It's somewhat unwarranted and doesn't necessarily make sense. But when I was younger, everybody knows that Final Fantasy VII was kind of my first love of gaming, and so Cloud Strife was obviously like at the top of my list there of protagonists that I like. And then in comes a guy that looks very similar to him, wearing a very similar costume, wielding Cloud's sword, having hair like
sword?
Cloud. I know, exactly. All of these things that, in my opinion, Cloud always did better. Cloud was this brooding kind of cool hero, and Zack is this very, like, light and fluffy, happy-go-lucky kind
He's
of
a
guy.
cornball. Call it what it is.
And so I never really, I mean, he was fine in the parts that of Final Fantasy VII, the original game that he was in.
He's
but
in
when
it? Flashbacks?
He is, yeah. There's pieces.
It's just a little bit.
Yeah,
he's
it's
in there.
yeah.
You don't get much of his character at all. But when I played Crisis Core, I don't know, Nolan, 15 years ago on
Long
your
time
PSP,
ago.
I think.
Yeah.
I think that probably was not the greatest presentation of this character. That, I didn't love Zack, and I didn't love the game, and so I think those two things together, and then the love that I have for Final Fantasy VII in general, and for Cloud Strife in particular, I think that just caused me a little bit of disdain for this game's protagonist.
Fair enough.
Is it just like story and the protagonist, or is it, what don't you like about the game? I mean, we don't need to like fully delve into your problems, but is it Final Fantasy like as an action RPG that was the hump, or what did it?
No, I think if I can remember that what pushed me off of this game early on was not that style of combat. It was just the storytelling. I still think, and we'll get into it, I think the writing here is very weak and very flimsy, and the way that these characters interact, like you get to see Sephiroth and I didn't know them at the time, but Genesis and Angeal and Zack, it's all corny. All the dialogue is so corny. It really is so reminiscent to my experience with Kingdom Hearts to this date. Very corny, very childish, whereas Final Fantasy VII is a lot more emo and adult.
Yeah, definitely. And I remember when Crisis Core came out and thought, how in the world are we actually getting this? Because I didn't remember Zack being in those. I mean, I did remember the flashbacks, but like he's barely mentioned in 7, and so you're like, okay, this is like interesting backstory, but they only teased it, so it felt insane that they like gave him a whole game in the States at least. Like I remember it coming out and be like, dang, we're actually getting like real stuff. Like Japan usually gets stuff like this or something like that. So
and listen, I'm glad they did. I was even doing a little bit of research this week. This game actually started as it was going to be a remaster for Before Crisis. They were going to bring Before Crisis to the States. They were going to remaster it, put it on the PSP. It was going to be a Turks focused, they're going to take the Turks focused mobile game, bring it here. It was going to be great, but they decided early in that process to actually turn it into a prequel story for Zack. I think that's fine. I think that's good. I think for me, Kenny, in just a couple of words, the tonal shift. That's what it is. It's the tonal shift. Final Fantasy VII had a lot more gravitas and was a lot more gritty, and this was a lot more light. Not only in the game and the story, but the characterization of Zack Fair is a lot more light than Cloud. That's all that it was, probably. The story here is I mean, since it's a prequel, there's kind of a lot going on here, but just really stripped down. It's 7 years, surprise, surprise, prior to the events of Final Fantasy VII. And during an operation in Wutai, home of one Yuffie Kisaragi,
Who's in this game?
as a child, a large number of soldier members go missing. Soldiers are soldiers, but they're these elite elite forces that work for an electric company. But
yeah, wait.
yeah.
It's actually a power company. Yeah, that's so
It
funny.
is, but they've taken, it's
a conglomerate.
Yeah. Not a meritocracy. There is a word for it when Kenny's probably knows
Evil?
it from board games, but it's there's a name for it. But soldier second class Zack Fair and his mentor first class Angel and a hero known the world over as Sephiroth go on a mission to find out what happened to a group of missing soldiers, and in that, others go missing, a lot goes down, someone turns evil, it gets really bad, and Zack Fair stays his, happy-go-lucky self. And all of these events really take the course over a number of years, setting up the events of Final Fantasy VII. This game, as mentioned at the very beginning of the episode, is a Patreon poll, and it was submitted by one person, Mystic.
Quick reminder that the New Game Plus podcast is entirely supported by your contributions on Patreon. For as little as $5 a month, you can support your favorite retro gaming podcast and also get really cool perks like early access first plays, 2 entries into Patreon pools, unedited episodes, all kinds of cool stuff is on there. If you want to check it out, all you got to do is head on over to patreon.com/NGP podcast. We so appreciate your support.
Gameplay.
When we booted up a Final Fantasy game that wasn't Final Fantasy VII, a Final Fantasy VII related game that wasn't the original, I literally had one metric in mind as to whether or not it was going to be bearable. I said, if it doesn't have materia, I'm out.
Of course it has materia.
It does, but it works very differently. So let's talk through the magic system in this game. I don't know, maybe combat. It just felt like a good starting place for this conversation.
Really?
You guys why wouldn't it be?
A good place to start with the materia system?
Of course, why not? It's like the thing that defines Final Fantasy VII.
We can do that, Kenny.
Sure.
It's as good a place to start as any other place. We
No,
need to talk about
the
this
structure
game.
of the game, but we can talk about a specific
no.
thing.
Materia.
This is a great place to start.
Step aside
crazy.
for the
Let's do
materia.
it.
Okay, it's obviously here. It's a Final Fantasy VII game, and that's the core of how the first game structures their magic system and ability system. And it's here, but it is slightly different. Number one, to talk about the materia, you kind of have to talk about how you use it in this game, and it is not a turn-based game. I thought that's where you were going, Kenny, when you said...
We can't talk about that yet.
What?
No, I mean, that is
related.
what we're talking about, and that is the implication
Go back
of
to
the
sleep.
thing.
I thought you were going that way, Kenny, when you said the metric being, is it turn-based or not? It is not, and honestly, I should also say up front, I played Reunion this week. This is the remaster. It's not a remake. It's a remaster.
No, I think it's a remake, bro.
You think it's a remake?
Oh,
I don't care either way.
it's a part of the, and it's straight up a part of the remake series.
It
It
is.
Right now, calling it a remaster. It's a part of the remake series. It's a blend. It is a
It is a blend
I
for
feel
sure.
like it's somewhere in the middle of sort of remake, sort of remaster.
It's a
and
remaster.
it's weird.
It is, but it is and I want to bring up some of the things that they did differently, because there are a lot more tweaks than just a visual overhaul.
A lot
Could
more,
we-
and some significant ones that I think would color my opinion of this game in 2025. So
For
yes,
sure.
we do need to talk about those things.
But we got to talk about materia. Before that,
Shut up!
I do.
No, can we-
I
can
do
we
want to know
agree?
what version you played, Kenny, because this is super important.
Sure. Well, can we agree that Reunion is a remakester?
I
don't know.
can't believe that's what you were dying to get out.
Right, and you
Yeah, we
had to
can.
get out instead of answering
We
my
can.
question.
No, I did.
He would have exploded if he didn't.
Kenny,
say it.
did you
I was-
play?
I
Did you
would
play
have
the original or the
died.
remaster?
I played a little bit of both, but I spent more
Oh.
time on Nolan's version this week, Reunion.
Reunion. Okay.
Why is it Nolan's version, and why does no one want to know what I spent my time playing?
I want to know what you
What
spent your
team-
time playing, but
What
I did.
team did you play for?
It is my version. People do say that a lot.
All right, well, I played Nolan's version as well. But
The reason I chose it
yeah.
is because I own the PSP version, and I went down there, and if you'll remember, I booted up Birth by Sleep last week, okay? But I was like, I want to play it on Steam Deck. I go down there, battery's toast on my PSP. It's blown up. I think me booting it up after 10 plus
where are you
years
going?
Yeah, down
killed
there,
my
Kenny.
PSP.
Down to Shinra
Down there.
headquarters?
Down there, dude.
Oh, just downstairs, like where
Yeah.
you had your console. Okay,
Yeah, look where I'm
I was
pointing.
like, where are we going?
Hell, I went to hell to get my PSP. What do you mean down?
Well, that's why it's messed up.
I think I fried it booting it
Oh,
up last
no.
week for the first time after like a decade. Anyways, so that was one reason why I wanted to play Reunion, but also yes, I had heard the changes. Back to the materia system.
Yeah, it has fire and cure and thunder.
Wow, this guy.
Sleep.
Listen, so Zack in battle, Zack has access to use materia, but in a different way. And that's one of the big changes. That's where I was going, why I even brought up Reunion. In the original, you had to menu much like, very similar to Kingdom Hearts. Very similar to Birth by Sleep. Like the same kind of situation where you're cycling through your materia and you use it like one at a time. The quality of life change, and the reason why you absolutely would play Reunion over the first one is that it's now there is a quick menu. So if you hold one of the trigger L1, I think it'll pop up with your materia, your hotbar. So that's both magic materia and action commands, or command materia, which are some of your actions. And I think also this is new in Reunion. You have pages for loadouts for the materia. You have 4 slots. So you can, slot in fire or cure or any of those magic spells, but you can also slot in materia like, I don't even remember, but the spin in a circle one, the like power attack where it's a big hit and stuns them. So you are finding materia, but you're also leveling up the materia on a star system. I think it goes to 5 stars and then it's maxed out. So it's different in like linking from the original and more so kind of just a spell system.
Right. And functionally you're not, I mean the battle itself also feels very different. This is we called it an action RPG. I think that's fair. This is a handheld, almost sort of brawler type game.
It's Birth by Sleep.
Where you're running around actively fighting enemies that are right in front of you, not turn-based. There's so much to this combat.
This is
I don't
honestly
know
the
what even to talk
prequel.
about.
This is the prequel to like if you've played the remakes, Rebirth and Remake, you will feel very at home because this feels like them testing out what would eventually become the system that we now have. This is an early rendition, and there's some like specifics we need to get into, some of the mechanics like the DMW. But this, it's a very modernized combat style from the first Final Fantasy VII game.
Like I offered last week in the episode, maybe it would be wise for us to not go into all the details of all the mechanics, because there are a considerable amount here. Probably not as much as Birth by Sleep, but
Sure.
But there are a lot here. If y'all would allow me to, I'd like to take a step back and kind of just set the scene for like what you're doing in this game.
We're talking
But
about
have
materia,
you thought
dude.
About
have
the
you thought
materia?
about just talking about
Like,
materia
we
for
could
the whole
just
time
linger here.
instead?
Gameplay. Let's go through each of the materia. So this is a largely completely a mission-based game. You've got a headquarters, and from there you're going out on missions as a soldier agent, all tethered to all the main missions are tethered to kind of the story that I set up at the beginning. However, there are 300 side quests or missions that you can do outside of the game. The majority of them, the overwhelming majority of them, are completely optional. And so they are completely optional, and so not mandatory. That's what I was going with.
And there's that many you can click on and go on, but in reality, different types of missions, there's not that many.
6, maybe?
Yeah, there's a lot of repeat in those side missions. And they try to color a little story in there with like NPCs, literally NPCs, text, but like it's a lot of the same missions. But yeah, there's tons.
The real benefit there is giving you an excuse to have more to do, but also to get additional items
or
to
what?
More
find
materia.
more materia.
Oh
Guy
yeah,
takes us
baby.
back to materia
Exactly.
with every conversation.
You want to be doing it to get more material.
That's
for
the
sure.
only thing people care about in the Final
Kenny.
Fantasy VII universe.
Yeah.
And materia stones to
Where you
make
can make
what?
new materia. What can you do with the materia stones?
Make new materia, baby.
Yeah, baby. But that's actually where the bulk of the game lies. If you don't do those 300 missions,
Good luck.
yeah, it's going to be more difficult because you're not going to be leveled, and you're not only your character but also your Kenny.
Materia
all
also
yeah,
won't be
really.
leveled
Okay.
up.
Your
Sorry.
materia will be leveled up there, but
Correct.
I mean, if you know what you're doing and you're skilled, I guess someone could probably go through without those side missions, and it will be a pretty brief game because you're just sticking to the story doing that. However, I will posit that the nature of being this handheld game, that kind of works with being this mission-oriented thing because you are not, in its original creation, meant to be sitting there long-term playing for long. You're supposed to be. The idea of handheld games. You're picking it up, knocking out a mission or two, and you put it down for the time, and that works when you've got these missions that are all a minute or two long.
Yeah, I like the pacing of this game because of that. I really liked Remake's pacing as well. It's also not mission based, but like scenario based. It's like very clear cut. Like you do this, and you're kind of confined to that part of the story. Versus Rebirth, which is open world. This one, I like having a little hub world, even though it's a little insignificant. There are some things you can do, like craft new materia in a room, and that's it. But you can also explore outside of the Shinra building a little bit in Midgar to get some, like, more missions, like talk to some NPCs and unlock a new, like, mission line. So I enjoy that. I know some people could see that as tedious because a lot of those missions are just walk forward, initiating combat mode, and then you like fight, and then you go and do it again until you find the like boss of the area. But I kind of like it.
It kind of works out for being handheld.
Yes.
It's very different. It is not going to feel like a typical big expansive open world RPG. It's going to feel a little bit episodic, which again people may love or may not love. But it gives you bite-sized ways to level up and improve your materia. Dustin, you said one thing that I do take a little bit of umbrage with. Yep, it's our word of the day. You said that if you do all of the mini games, that the game will be mini games. I'm sorry, the side missions. Side quests. Yeah, right. That you'll be leveled up, which allows you to finish the main story more easily. That may or may not be true.
That's true.
Because
it's true.
This game. You have no control, literally zero, outside of the fact that math exists and is on your side, and maybe under the hood they actually cheated a little bit. I'm not sure.
I think that is to some degree.
Yeah, you have no control over your character's leveling up, which is wild to me. It happens randomly or pseudo-randomly or scripted randomly, but from everything that you hear, it's supposedly completely random.
And I think that's where we got to talk about the DMW.
Yeah,
because
you want me to do it really quick?
To that, do it really quick.
I have a really quick summary. Okay, the digital mind wave is a slot machine that's in the top left, literally slot machine in the top left of the combat screen that is constantly rolling character portraits and numbers. If the portraits align, you gain access on the triangle button to finisher moves tied to that character. For example, Octa/Sephiroth. The numbers aligning mean limit breaks. The numbers aligning also mean different combat conditions. One of them, my favorite, is no MP cost or no AP cost for a limited time. Very useful and very hype when it happens. The summons are also tied to this system.
Yeah, they show up there as well, and the leveling. So there is an experience like number that you can't see. In fact, the game, the Reunion, is that version actually gives you a pop-up at some point that says there are experience points, but you can't see and you can't find them, so don't
it
try.
says don't worry, don't even look.
But there is one under, and so you are gaining experience that you can't see, and then eventually when you gain that experience, you have a chance of the sliders, the slots, lining up in such a way that your character levels up. But as Kenny mentioned, you don't really have any control over that. You just play the game. But the more that you're playing in battles, that's why the side quests do work in your favor.
Sure.
You are going to level up over time. But yeah, Nolan, I think we're all in agreement. Brother, you give me no cost MP, and I'm gonna run away from you and spam everything until that.
If you resist it, I'm spamming it. Like, it's free. Why not? Why
Yeah.
not?
Right. The only thing better than materia is free materia.
Oh, yeah. And seriously, I don't know if I actually harped on it enough for the last episode, but one of my favorite things in a video game is infinite use abilities. And in Birth by Sleep, you could use your abilities infinitely as long as the cooldown was done.
That's right.
And you didn't have to worry because I'm a hoarder. You give me MP or a potion, I'm not going to use it the entire game because I need to have 99 or 100.
What was that game that, like, when you used your spell, or was it cards, it's gone? It was that Harry Potter game. You were collecting these cards. If you used it, gone forever.
It was a handheld Harry Potter game. That's right. But here, when I promise you, I'm not using my magic until I roll no cost MP, and then I'm spamming the mess out of it. I'm curing before it runs out.
Well, also, like, there's some strategy there. It's a random system, so like you can't depend on it happening every time. But some of these missions, I did quite a few of the side missions. I was following a guide, actually, like a trophy guide. Some of those, like, final missions in a set, it's like 2-1-6.
Yeah, 6.
Those can get kind of lengthy and, like, challenging because of the fights you're doing, and so you're gonna get and low HP, and you can use items to heal, like, but those are also limited. You have to, like, restock on those eventually. So I really like that DMW, almost a DMV, DMW system. I like the randomness of it. I know some people probably hate it, but I enjoy it.
How do y'all feel? I bet I know how Kenny feels about cutscenes interrupting battles. So a big part of the DMW, they've got a lore reason for it. Actually, it's that Zack is having these memories, or there's even a wave under the DMW that when Zack's emotions are increased by story moments, it will be more hype, and you're more likely to hit some of these character portraits.
It's like affiliated with Sephiroth because you just had an interaction with him.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But when you hit those portraits in the remake, the reunion version, it doesn't fully interrupt your combat. It does a little bit, but in the original version, it completely overrides the screen, pauses battle, and shows the last slot falling into place. You might not even hit the memory, but if it falls into place, you'll have this flashback that you're watching Zack interact with Angel in a training session earlier before it throws you back into battle. I know Kenny hates it. I also want to hear him say that.
Why do you
And then
hate
I want to know what you think, Nolan.
I'm just going to say that is such a design choice.
You can you can skip it.
I think only in Reunion.
Yes, there's some major quality of life differences between the two.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's not a choice I would have made. I'll just say that.
Well, it's got to be skippable in the original, like after you see it the first time or something, right?
Brother, I don't know. Also, I don't think the summon animations are skippable in Reunion. Though. In Reunion, they are fire, especially with Ifrit. But in Reunion, they are, I think, 10 to 20 seconds, something like that. In the original, they're 30 seconds to a minute.
Honestly,
they're long,
I can't be mad. I don't mind a forced summon watch because they're so high quality.
You can't be mad the first time. You can be mad the 15th time that you're having to rewatch it.
Zankentetsu, what is the Odin one?
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce it. Freaking good in this game. And yes, they're all similar across games, but I like it every time. Anyways, how do I feel about the cutscene interruptions when you get a portrait alignment? I like it because it's story related and builds upon, especially Zack and Angeal's relationship. But you also get a cool one with Sephiroth. I don't remember which one, but he's like teaching you how to do like like kill the enemy in one swipe, like like Sephiroth styles, like one slash and they're dead. I like that a lot, but not being able to skip it in the original is pretty rough, especially if you're like in the middle of something like that's like an intense fight. Yeah.
I also like it for story reasons, but they've got to be skippable, especially because they show you the same ones over and over again.
Yeah, I wish that when you saw it once, it didn't
Yeah.
show it again.
Yeah.
I think that's a better.
Yeah.
That's even more quality.
Or it cut to a short
Yeah.
version
Yep,
of it
Kenny.
or something.
Yeah.
What did y'all think about the mini games real quick before we move on? There are some mini games throughout the main story mostly where, like, for example, one of them early on is when you go to, I don't remember, Genesis and Gilles' hometown. And Benora, yeah. And you have to, you're finding these little, like, shiny things on the ground. And it's like, I'll pick this up later. And then it's a timed thing later where you go through and can collect extra items. But then some of them are stupid. Like in that same mission, it's like it's like missiles coming at you, and you have to swipe at a certain time to like slice the missile in half. What did you guys think about those?
It feels very Final Fantasy VII. Like you could have them or not. I don't particularly care. I don't feel strongly about it, but I like conceptually that these games do that, and so I don't want to like knock it. I don't think they're my favorite.
Kenny, I take umbrage to that. Final Fantasy VII has some of the better mini games in
Absolutely
video game history. That might be aggressive. And Crisis Core, sure. I don't think it needs them. You've already got your missions, which are already short, kind of mini game-esque. In fact, some of y'all have accidentally said
the
mini
whole
games.
thing. Yeah, it kind of feels like a series of small,
unnecessary in my
quests.
opinion, but fine, I guess.
Honestly, I wish they would have made those missions, the optional ones, more mini gamey, where it's less of
Stuff
just
to do.
Yeah, like it's more of those kinds of like timed things or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It really is the same kind of stuff, with those 300 missions, which is an overwhelming amount. You don't have to do them all, but there does need to be variety. You're seeing the same environments. You're seeing a lot of the same enemies. And it's the same thing. There's between 1 and 3 chests that need to be open, and then you just need to get to the final enemy there and fight it. There's really not much variety.
And some of those chests are really well hidden. It's starting to piss me off.
Yeah, they are really annoying. What do y'all think? There's a lot of different other systems, a lot of other things going on story related. Like one here that is one of the features is that you've got a whole mail system. Like you're getting nonstop mail from different characters throughout. In fact, early on, you can
join the
join
Genesis fan club.
You can join the Genesis or Angel fan club, and
Or
then
both.
you can get. So some of the mail that you get are tips and hints. Some of them are lore, and then a lot of them, I would say probably the overwhelming amount of them, are spam nonsense. Do you like them, Kenny? Do you take the time to read them, or do you just are you throwing them all in spam?
I took the time to read them, but I hated that fact, and I also would not have done this as a design choice.
I love them.
I
You
only
love
read
them?
the ones from
I
my
love
boss, Kunsel.
Lizard.
Lazard, yeah.
Yeah.
Kunsel's not my boss. He's just a dude. But
Yeah, he's not your
he's
boss.
a friend. He's like an annoying friend that's like, hey, let's be friends. I did read some of. I skimmed the fan club ones because I don't care.
You don't care about them.
No, but it's it's fun.
I really like it.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't add anything like substantial, but
how and why?
why wouldn't that be obvious for me? I love anything that is just further fluffing out the lore.
You do.
And
you like the fluff.
This is world building and lore, and dude, I do read Final Fantasy books. I've read the Final Fantasy books, and so anything that's giving you a little bit more lore, I get that is annoying for a lot of people, and there's a lot of mail, and you get a lot of alerts about it all throughout the game, and so that's probably annoying. I totally get that, but I'm one of the few that really likes it.
Yeah.
I want to bring up, I mentioned it early on. I saw a face from Nolan. I would like to know from both of y'all the story here. And it's a long, I mean, it's an RPG, so it's hours, right? So I don't think any of us this week got all the way through. Nolan and I have been all the way through it before. I do not think Kenny has, and I don't think even Kenny's watched all the way through. So
No.
he doesn't know the full story.
I know how the
Dang.
story starts, and that's
Sure.
it. So I can't make an informed
Oh, you
judgment.
gotta find out about the ending, either playing it or.
I have hints. I think I accidentally spoiled myself a little bit just in researching like the game in general, but I don't know, and I do want to see how it ends. So we'll see if that happens. I'm torn on this one. It's set up. It seems like it has potential. I like that it's building towards a universe and story that we know and kind of colliding with some parts of things that are familiar, but I also agree it doesn't feel like it's maybe the best told story in that I've seen, but I also didn't like hate it, so I'm probably somewhere right in the middle between y'all. I don't know.
Okay, I made a face
fine.
earlier because I'm kind of I'm fine being the middleman here between Dustin and Zack fanboys. A lot of Zack fanboys. I want to be very clear. People love this character.
Yeah.
When they announced, I can say this, when they announced Rebirth, and did that trailer, I mean, at the end, everyone lost their minds. And for good reason, because of Zack's story and how it pans out. But the reason I think people love this character is because he's happy-go-lucky in this very dark setting that we're used to a brooding character, and we're used to a heavy weight placed on him. And when you if you know what happens in 7 with Cloud, then this character is kind of a big like contrast to him in some ways.
Yeah.
And what I pull from the story and why I made a face, I actually love how they land this story. It starts corny. I will give it to you. The writing, and I don't know if that's a lot of translation problems or if that's just like the downright cringe of it all. Like, and there's other areas in age that I'll talk about, but
Some of that is just Final Fantasy.
Yeah, for sure. But this was the era, I would say 2007 and Birth by Sleep. Like, this era of Enix is very square. It's very corny. And
Cornball,
anyways, I really especially like about this story the lore behind the Buster Sword that you get. I think it adds so much to Final Fantasy VII. And that's what you want from a spin-off game. Like the Angeal's origin with his family, and then it passes to Zack, and then it passes to Cloud. That is a really nice picture, and I like the whole theme of honor behind what the OG soldiers used to hold dear and were important. I like that a lot, and so I'll defend the story in that regard. But like getting there, I can also understand Dustin's side of like, dude, this is just hard to listen to.
I think we're along the same thing here then, because like my problem is not with the meta story necessarily of like where we go and where we end up and some of those things. I don't hate that. And again, a prequel story to my favorite story that focuses on Zack, excellent idea. Excellent idea. That's what needs to happen. One needed to happen with the Turks as well. It didn't have to happen with the Turks, but should happen with the Turks.
I'd
did.
love that.
But we don't have that, you know. I just think the way that they get there, the dialogue, the interactions, it's very different than it's a lot more. People are going to be offended by this for sure. It's a lot more Chrono Trigger vibes than Final Fantasy VII vibes. It's a lot more light, happy, fluffy, corny than serious, gritty, urban Midgar.
Okay, when you qualified what you meant by that,
Yeah.
I was slightly less offended. Using Chrono Trigger as a what
pejorative.
felt like a negative, as a pejorative,
Nice
it was
word.
not okay.
For me, no,
They're different.
don't wait and then say
Yeah.
but. I'll let it go. It's just the writing. You're gonna do it again. You want to say but again? Is that what it is?
I mean, I always want to say but.
It's just the writing, and I hate to keep talking about last week's game, but we're playing them back to back. Why are they writing so bad during this time? What is it with just this bad corny? I will tell you one thing.
Honestly.
This is also going to offend people. I'm sorry. This is an Anime doesn't have.
Watch what you say. Right now, watch what you say. We will be killed.
There is just an anime influence here. That's
fine.
all.
That's fair.
It's fine. And I will say that I think some Kingdom Hearts writers or the writer was responsible for this era that you're referring to. Nojima worked on Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy X.
It would explain so much.
Crisis Core. I don't know. It's just this era that
Yeah.
I have a fondness
Sure.
for, and I think a
Sure.
lot of people do, especially Kingdom Hearts kids, like I was. But I can see what you mean.
Yeah. Anything else to say about Materia before we move on?
Yeah,
Materia
it's
rules.
best.
Aged.
Reunion exists. We already have brought this up, but it is something to acknowledge.
Big time.
Big time because yes, it's a remaster, but it's also a remaster.
Yeah.
And the quality of life changes mechanically are different than the original. And I just want to say, my opinion and wherever I land in summary would be colored by
Sure.
those changes, I think. So I just want a disclaimer up here. I didn't play the original. I have before. That's why I chose the new one, because I was like, I know what the original experience is like. I just want to see what this one's about. So
Can we have a brief fundamental conversation about this? Because I do think that's an interesting conversation to have, because often
Sure.
we try to play the original game because that's the game that gets pulled, that's the game that's entered, that's the game that's
first
retro.
choice, yes.
We do. And
But-
philosophically, I like that we try to do that.
Sure. There are often games that we have played where it's just like a visual overhaul for the most part, maybe a music overhaul, and so like we still get the full OG experience, but just with slightly spruced up, and so it still colors our opinion a little bit, but not anything substantial in my opinion. And then we get something like this that I think it doesn't make it a different game.
No, but it almost does.
But it makes it a different experience.
It makes
How
it
about that?
a fundamentally different experience. And I went through that whole process, Dustin, this week. I thought this was more of just a reskin when we picked it up
Sure,
and
me
jumped
too.
into it. And then when we played more and more, and I started seeing things that just felt really modern, really streamlined, really quality of life, I started looking into some of those differences and realized to some degree I had made a terrible mistake. Not because playing this version is bad, but because like the goal was for me to learn about, the original like older game. That's what we do. And this is very adjacent to that. It's still the same game, still the same story, but very different. And like Nolan, I think in a lot of really important good ways it's different. But I'm glad we caveated, because I'm with you. Our decisions are based on this newer version, which is a little bit of a cheat on our end, but like y'all have to just go with it and forgive us and accept it. It's the way it is.
Dustin, I think the point should be, this is my opinion, when we come across a game that has a true remake where they've changed the game more than visuals, we shouldn't play it.
Well, sure.
The reason I did this time is because I've played the original,
Yeah.
and I gave myself permission, but this game's different.
Well, and I'm not coming down on you. I played the reunion version
I know.
as well.
I'm just saying for the community
But
sake,
yeah.
I feel like it's probably best if we.
I think
stick
we
to
all
it.
understand if Final Fantasy VII were to get pulled, we can't play Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Come on now.
Like it's
Sure.
Come on
it's
now.
a totally different game.
This is a slightly more gray area, but we are more into the black than we wanted to be, I think.
Bro, 7 Remake's a sequel. It's not a remake.
A sequel. That's a yeah. It's called Remake.
Called remake,
But yes.
like, come on.
Okay. Here are a few of the changes. I don't want to leave Reunion yet because it's crazy. So obviously, graphic fidelity, the models were updated. Some small things, right? Like the Buster Sword was. The model was changed so that it was cohesive with Reunion and Remakes Buster Sword design.
Right. Which makes
Zack-
sense because it plays such an important role.
Yeah. Zack got they replaced his voice actor, so the VA for Zack is now the new Zack that's doing it for Reunion
Was
and
it?
Remake.
I
Yeah.
couldn't tell.
Yeah.
He sounded different to me.
Which is fine. It makes it feel all cohesive. The new stuff all being the same works. I get it.
Gongaga.
I don't blame them for that.
Nice, Nolan. But a number A number of gameplay tweaks came in as well, some fairly consequential. So, like, I'll just name a few, but you can now dash outside of battle. You weren't able to dash outside of battle before. You can now stock limit breaks and summons. So they used to proc as soon as you got them, which is a bad design decision. And this may have been one of the ones that they actually meant to make in the original, that you could stock them. Forgot to implement that, and then it was too late. Yeah, right. And so in the original, they are instant. So as soon as your slots line up, no matter what, they
I
go off,
remember that now that you
trigger.
mention it.
Yep.
which is not great because you want to plan when to use those. Here, they're gone at the end of battle, so you want to use them in the battle, but you can use them at the most pivotal moments, and
Yeah.
so that's huge. Those are just two of the examples.
And then
Oh,
I mentioned one where you
UI overhaul. Yeah.
Oh
like
yeah, for
menuing
sure. It's visually
everything.
easier to navigate, but also I believe in the original you didn't have that hot menu for your spells for materia.
You
I
don't
think
have the left bumper that then you choose, kind
have
of
to
like
scroll.
Reunion and Remake. They are down in the bottom right, and you only have the 3 that you can scroll across, and attack is one of them. So attack, and then you've got your other materia down at the bottom.
which doesn't sound bad, but it's super cumbersome. It's better
comparatively
this way.
speaking.
Yes.
It is, but they were trying to get to a similar experience.
Yes.
I feel like they streamlined it. It's better, but it's not like they totally reworked it. They just made it even more smooth.
Yes.
The goal always was for you to be able to do these things instantly if you had the ability on whim, but they just do it better.
Yes.
The skippable content of that's the one that I think pains me the most, and it may have made the difference between me like being able to put up with the game or not.
Sure.
And I was very glad that they made the choice to go shorter on some of those content and allow you to skip them.
They didn't include
the cutscene things.
the hold down R2 to literally fast forward cutscenes that's in Rebirth and Remake, which I really like that feature, but it's not in this one.
No, not in this one. But
You can
so
full
many,
skip it though.
so many quality of life. It's actually good, Kenny, that you just mentioned that. Like, everything that they did in the remake of this with Reunion, it feels like it's what they were going for in the original. It's all faithful, I feel like. It's
for sure.
just modernized, and with what they're able to do today, brought into a new era and done in a way that is still completely faithful to the original game, but it does make the experience different.
Yeah, some of them are notable enough though that like they are very different games and game experiences, even if the heart of them and what they're trying to do is true. And so it's worth acknowledging that.
I do want to talk about the graphics of the OG though, because I think it's relevant. Because PSP is something we don't have a lot of experience with. We mentioned that up front, but the graphics of the original, I think we were running at 20 FPS. I think that was the limit on the PSP. So like we're now at, I don't know, PC you can get to like 120 on this game, but I think the original looks okay. I think it looks pretty good still. It's very Kingdom Hearts vibes. Like again, this era was just kind of the style that they were going for. It looks like Sephiroth from Kingdom Hearts. It looks kind of like Zack from Kingdom Hearts, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like hair was also used to be an issue. I think the hair looks fine in this game, so some of the textures are very plain and rough, but overall, I think the game looks pretty good.
I like the look of the original. If anything, the new one is so modern looking and cohesive and shiny, and there's so many things going on the screen. It almost feels like a different kind of game, sort of almost era of game. And I like that older style. Unsurprisingly, like I'm into old video games, go figure. But it does. It looks good on the PSP. Enough so. Sorry, this is what I was going to say. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Enough so that the cutscenes they like upscale a little, but they don't change them at all. They reuse all of the original cutscenes. A lot of stuff was actually remade for this, but the not the in-game, the story cutscenes, the actual like video cutscenes are the original ones from the game. Cleaned up some, but
AI upscaled.
Yeah, AI upscaled, but exactly the same
Alan
cutscenes.
Iverson.
We're all in agreement here. I prefer the style of the new because it is more modernized, but This game was designed with the old models in mind that are a lot more in line with Kingdom Hearts. And so in the older models, you have bigger eyes, you have the more of those AI proportions and textures. Anime proportions and
Yeah.
textures, which works because Zack and other characters, Zack in particular, is very expressive in this game. I don't know really how to describe it other than
Especially
if
with
you've
his
seen
eyes.
an
Yeah.
anime, like they do these over the top. It felt weird and off with no longer having those anime proportions in the modern version. It makes sense as to why he's waving his arms or gesticulating in this unique way. It made sense when it looked more anime-esque or Kingdom Hearts-esque. It felt a little bit off with their more like real things and made it even more cheesy, I think, because it's it's removed from its particular environment. It doesn't break the experience, but it is worth noting that not everything, in my opinion, is better in the remake.
Yeah, the OG is charming. It's got a charm to it for sure.
The music is still all the same, but it was rearranged and maybe even remastered, but it's still the same tracks from the original Crisis Core. It is a different composer than Final Fantasy VII's composer, but I think all of them are very faithful. They do use a lot of the themes and even some of the tracks they rework from Final Fantasy VII. I mean, it happened even in the first play. Like, I got chills, dude. You just play the prelude. You play the bombing. They have the bombing mission at the beginning. Like, they have so many things here that just for a Final Fantasy fan is just going to work.
I mean, that whole virtual whatever, it's just the intro to 7, right? That's fun. I like the nod
fan
there,
service.
Yeah, if you like the FF7 music, you're gonna love the music here. There are a lot of the same themes, and even the new ones I think are really good. Like Zack's, what is Zack's theme called? It's got a name.
Not Zack's theme?
No, it's got some name that I don't think was in the original, but is like kind of associated with him now.
Is it called The Price of Freedom?
No.
Oh.
You'll know, and I might be wrong. It might not be the okay, well.
Might not be.
It plays at the end of Remake. I know that. Whenever you see Zack carrying Cloud.
That's fun.
Anyways. But yeah, music's great.
There are plenty of games in the Final Fantasy universe. We've already named the ones that are connected to Final Fantasy VII. You've got Before Crisis, which I don't think you can really play unless you've got an old Japanese phone. You've got this one, Crisis Core. You've got Dirge of Cerberus, which we still haven't pulled. That's the last one of the suite.
Oh, man.
That we haven't played.
ABCD?
ABCD, which was all accidental, apparently, according to
It was not on purpose, trust me.
And then you've got other Final Fantasies that are not directly connected to this story. You should play them all.
The First Soldier.
If you... Ever Crisis. If you want a UMHD, what are the CDs called for nuts? PSPs?
UMD, bro.
$11 loose, $17 complete in box, and $68 new. Cheaper than Birth by Sleep. No one's mad.
Yeah, I thought I was sitting on cash down there in hell.
This one did sell better than Birth by Sleep.
No surprise to me.
It was the best-selling Square game on the PSP.
No surprise.
Yeah, not a surprise to me either.
Final thoughts.
At the end of each and every one of our episodes, we determine whether or not the game gets our vote for New Game Plus status, which is our general thumbs up or thumbs down. It does require 2/3 of the vote to swing one way or the other. Kenny, what did you think of Crisis Core: Final Fantasy VII?
God.
Yeah, I hate that naming convention. And there are some things about this game that were imperfect. The general concept of slot machining your primary fight mechanics is super obnoxious to me philosophically. But there was enough here to enjoy that overall I enjoyed it. The kind of bite-siziness of the missions and the repetitiveness was a little annoying. Some of the repetitive cutscenes, they were skippable at least, was a little annoying. I do think I probably would have had more difficulty with the original version. I think Crisis Core redone, whatever they call it.
Redone.
Yeah, took some of those edges off, so that's worth noting. That's the sort of perspective I have. But pretty good. I'm not offended that Zack exists and needing Cloud to be my boy or anything like that. And so, good game, good universe. I think most people are going to enjoy it. I'm still a purist. I'd rather play an old turn-based classic RPG style Final Fantasy, of course. These new shiny ones are just like too much. But it's a good game, and I'm not going to take it away from anyone, even given all of those complaints. So, new game plus for me, but half-hearted, like I give half the time.
Who gets the final word? Is it the Crisis Core PSP fanboy, or is it the Final Fantasy VII fanboy?
I think that depends.
I'll let Nolan go next.
Okay. After all this time, I still enjoy going through this one. I got a good bit through the story this week, believe it or not. And I had fun doing those side missions. Yes, they're samey and repetitive, but that's kind of this game. Like, the reason it's redeemed and okay to me is because I do enjoy the combat system, and I do like the lottery system in the corner. I find it fun, and whenever I get when I land something, I get that dopamine hit that real gambling gives you. and I got really good at the combat and the flow of it, so I didn't mind doing that over and over. And I felt good gearing up and getting new
Materia.
and leveling those up. I enjoyed the experience of this game a lot. And unlike Dustin, I think the writing, while some of the dialogue's super corny, mid-game to late game, I think the writing gets quite good. And I like what they do with like camera angles. Like, they go quite cinematic. And I mean, I think it's one to play for sure, especially if you're interested in the Final Fantasy VII canon. I mean, goodness, it's very vital to that story. Yeah, I give it New Game Plus easily.
I have a sordid history with Crisis Core. We've already talked about. Do not need to belabor that point. The first time I played it all the way through. I think I enjoyed it. It was fine, but it wasn't like stand out or remarkable to me. I'm glad that I did, if for nothing else, the story. I'm a completionist, and so if I'm Final Fantasy VII, I want it all. Playing Reunion this time makes the original Crisis Core game obsolete. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I know it might sound as much, but I think Crisis Core Reunion is one of the best remasters that I've ever seen, because it is incredibly faithful to the original game while just giving you the comforts of modern gaming. Like, we didn't even address even half of them. Like, the right stick for camera. You didn't have camera control except on the bumpers outside of battle in the original.
You're right.
Yep. Camera angle itself also changed.
Yeah.
It's much more pleasant. Tons of little things like that.
Dash was not its own button. It was its own kind of materia slot in the original. Like, there are so many game tweaks and UI tweaks in this remaster that makes it the experience. If you want to play Crisis Core, go and play Reunion. You will get the faithful OG experience while having a much better time at it. That being said, if all you have is the OG, it's still worth playing because it is a good game. I had fun this week. In fact, I would love to continue playing Reunion and play it all the way through again, because I've only done it once, the original Crisis Core. This is a good game. I don't think it's a great game. It's not on par with like Final Fantasy VII or some of the other mainline Final Fantasy games, but this is a good addition to the Final Fantasy VII suite. I think it's a lot of fun. I'm glad we get a little bit of Zack's backstory and the Buster Sword backstory. I always love Sephiroth. They do a fan service and throw in Yuffie, and obviously you're going to get Cloud at some point and some of these other things. It's a good experience.
I agree with your sentiment there, Dustin, enough so that I actually think my answer as to New Game Plus status might have even changed between the two versions. That That's how much
Interesting.
Yeah, it's significant. I was saying
better
the same.
I think this is. And again, I don't know. That's just from like understanding the differences, but
Sure.
but I was kind of right on the line, and I think they pushed me into liking it.
Yeah. Which I give Crisis Core my vote for New Game Plus status, which means Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII is New Game Plus certified. But what did you think?
On YouTube, 45% said yes, you should check it out and play it. 4% said no, which is quite low. I feel like that's a big gap there.
And I felt like this game's popular. That surprises me a little bit.
Yeah. 51% have never played Crisis Core.
I wonder if that's PSP. It's a
mean-
franchise people love generally.
I think that's I think PSP is maybe a little niche around the time, and then I don't think a ton of people have revisited with Reunion yet.
That's fair. Yeah,
So.
totally fair. The community had split opinions on this one, but they were mostly positive.
Uh-oh.
In one camp, we have Levi, who said, "I will die on this hill. Crisis Core is the best thing that has ever happened to Final Fantasy VII since its release. It made me feel things."
That's wild to say something like that. I'm glad Dustin.
So,
Like,
that's fun.
whoa.
Clint agreed. He dropped an easy NGP from me. But in the other camp, we have Farmer Ben, who writes, "I've never disliked a game so much that I should love. This game is built to be fan service of a game far greater than itself, and I appreciate that they wanted to try some new things. I just don't think they worked. The base simple combat is fine, but it's ruined by the DMW system, which takes up too much of the tiny screen and provides random level ups and limit breaks for seemingly no in-story reason. Also, Zack sucks. They should have just let me play as Sephiroth. No New Game Plus from me."
Dang. Okay, so that's actually very opposite from what other people are saying. It's not fan service, I don't think. I really don't. I think it's adding to the story. I don't think people at the time...
It's got a little bit of fan service-ness in there.
Kind of, but you have to remember, like, I don't know if Zack Fair from the original game had a massive fan base. Like, he was mentioned.
That's fair.
He wasn't
Literally.
fleshed out. So maybe to say that now, it's easy to say. But at the time when it came out, I don't know.
I feel like if it was overt fan service, it would have had more chocobos.
That's true. That's true.
You know? And Garlisle's thoughts were less opinionated, but more confused. He shares, "The DMW system feels weird. It's surprisingly complex and impactful for a system you seemingly can't control. Fair. And while it's not a negative as a whole, it just leaves me kind of wondering why."
Yeah, I totally... And the person that wrote in before
It's
this as
odd.
well, I totally understand the DMW system bouncing off people, but like, kind of the lack of control that you have because of it is fun to me. I think that's what they're going for.
What's fun to you is the cheap dopamine hits, and you're a sucker and part of the problem
It's
with
like going to
everything
Vegas.
that's wrong with the world. Exactly, it absolutely is. It's gambling for gamers. Plenty of other folks shared their takes of various temperatures as well, and you can read those and add your own. Maybe we'll read them on the next episode by joining the commentary channel in Discord.
But for now, we are setting aside Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII, but we are not randomly selecting from our retro master lists. I don't get sick of that part right there. We've been saying that for weeks on end this year because it is the summer pool party and it is a producer pool. No, I'm not going to do the fanfare that Dustin does.
Oh, do it.
No. I can't. Stats by Shane.
Stats by Shane.
Thank you. Okay, so GameCube, once again, coming in first with 12 submissions, which seems a lot lower than last week, but you have to remember, this is a producer pool, even smaller than a Patreon pool. PS1 comes in second place with 11 submissions. And then
neck and neck.
Yeah, close, super close. And then also NES and GBA both have 9 submissions total.
Okay, so still pretty good variety here. I didn't hear PC there, which breaks my heart a little bit, but I'll give it to them.
I mean, I'm looking at it. Let me see what PC's at. I'm curious. PC is not on. Okay, PC has 7 submissions. There you go, Kenny.
Okay,
So,
that's
honestly,
fine. I thought I was getting out of the pool, but I'll hang out for the end. And we've only got a little bit left.
only a little bit left. Super Mario Sunshine leading the pack with 12 submissions. So that's your GameCube stats there. And I know that's hype for me, and a lot of people in the community want us to play that game. So we'll see. Pokemon Emerald is the GBA game of choice this week with 6 entries. So there's half of those. And then a wild card coming in with 3 submissions is called Adventures of Lolo 3. Any clue what that is?
No, but it
Okay.
intrigues me.
Same. A few others. Scotty Clash submitted Shrek Treasure Hunt. We get another Shrek game in the NGP lore, maybe. Swift Pilot Ben submitted Okami. I've heard a lot about that game, never played it. Spinny the Jet submitted Yoshi's Island. I still can't believe we haven't played that one. And Bill R. is still holding out for Aria of Sorrow, which would be sick.
Someday.
Before we randomize, Kenny, I do want to remind everybody that we have one more Patreon pool of the summer pool party this year. So it is not too late to get in on the action. For $5, you can submit 2 games to a smaller randomizer and maybe get a game pulled that you have been dying for us to play. So where can they go, Kenny, to do that?
Hop onto Discord.
No.
Wait, no.
False.
Dustin's going to roast me. I got ahead of myself because we do want you to join the Discord, and we'll talk about that in a second. You can go to patreon.com to support your favorite retro gaming podcast.
And I think
and
we've
that's
already
also
done that.
we have. That's also where you put your votes in for summer pool party submissions and Patreon pools and all those things. So check that out. You know about it if you're part of it already.
I think we've already done that joke this episode, but oh well. But this that we're about to randomize is the last producer pool of the summer pool party. So I hope it's good. Randomizing now. The game came out in 1997. Guess the console.
Ooh, 1997? I'm going to say this is it's not, but I'm going to hope it's a Nintendo 64 game.
Try again.
Well, I mean, that's not how guesses work. I get one.
Try
PlayStation 2?
Correct.
Which one?
PlayStation 1.
Okay.
This is an action-adventure game, but
Okay.
I've always thought it was an RPG. There
Okay.
is this gameplay involves extensive exploration with
I'm for
various
it.
dungeons with
Absolutely
an
for it.
emphasis on puzzle solving, Kenny.
I'm 1,000% there.
Real-time action combat
Less intriguing, but it depends on what that means.
and platforming.
Eh.
It's a very big title. I think a lot of people will be pleased. It was submitted by one person. We have another one that just beat out the odds.
Everyone just comes in from left field with
Yeah.
those single votes.
It was submitted twice by Champagne Vinaigrette. And the name of the game is Alundra.
Alundra. I have heard of this game, but I'm not
For
familiar
sure.
with it. It's not one I've played. But it's a relatively big title.
Yeah, I mean, by the cover is probably why I thought this was an RPG all this time, and I bet there's a lot of
Sure.
elements of RPG in the game. That's my suspicion, but I'm pretty excited, honestly. I think Dustin will be excited too. Maybe he's played it. I feel like he's talked about this game before.
It wouldn't surprise me. Like this
Well.
era and this type of game, it wouldn't surprise me at all. We'll find out.
We'll find out, and we'll have to see if it's a good. Well, it's not the end of the summer pool party, but it is the final producer one. We'll have to see if it's gnarly enough. So, find a copy of Alundra on the PlayStation and play along with us and Champagne Vinaigrette this next week. We've already mentioned it, but you can also join us in Discord. We want you to be a part of our community. It's a great place to connect about the game of the week and a bunch of other hobbies. So go to discord.gg/NGP podcast.
Yep. Thank you to those of you who support us on patreon.com. including our many producer-level supporters, such as Alex and Marlene, Anton, and Ben Bill, our Champagne Vinaigrette, hey, Cody, Craig, Dagny, Flombus, Garlisle, Grammy C, Hallex, Harold, Hey Brother, Hot Tamales, JB Cress, J. Robert, Jake Jordan, Justin Caldaka, Clint, Lepidius Landris, Levi, Maximum Megatroid, Miss Muso, Not Enough Dog, Radmac, Riff, Sagen, Scotty, Shane, Shauna, Snake Maddox, Spinny the Jet, Stephen Fox, Super Garbage Day, Super Hyper, Swaggy Taco Fish, Psycho Mantis, Thomas, Unbedavable, and Zion. It's a good thing I did my stretches.
With
vocally.
your mouth?
Yeah, with my mouth to make sure I was going to get through that before we started the episode.
You did good.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, and we would love to see that community grow even more, because this is the best place to be in retro gaming. Thank you to our directors, Brojim, Sasser, Mystic, Tins, and Siegfried, and to our newest patron this week. Thank you for hopping on board, Peter. We appreciate it so much.
Peter, welcome. You can follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Links are in the show notes. Listen directly on any podcast provider of your choice. Make sure you are subscribed so you're the first to get new NGP episodes, and while you're at it, please leave a kind rating and review. Our episode artwork was created by our friend Dave. Our video episode was edited by our friend Dylan. Our audio episode was edited and produced by our friend Dan Willett. Join us next week as we play Alundra. Until then, I'm still bad at this part of the podcast.
You are, but so am I, and miss you, Dustin.
What does he say after that? And this has been New Game Plus?
That's it.